Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and also commemorating Viksit Bharat in 2047 in collaboration Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating National EMS Week from May 18th to 24th in the US, which honors the contributions of those who work on the medical front line. This year, it is celebrated from May 18 to 23. This week, gives emergency medical services, EMS, and those who would like to credit a chance to recognize their hard work in potentially fatal situation. Daily, whether an accident, a national emergency, or a terrorist act, the EMS work quickly and efficiently to save lives. This week is a perfect time to create daily themes, teach and learn something, team build, and most importantly, understand the magnitude of how much the EMS do. EMS this week will work more likely to do special trainings to ensure up to effective life savings treatments, whether celebrated together or across the nation. A lot was going on during this week. So in November 1974, President Gerald Ford announced and authorized the first National Emergency Medical Services Week from November 3rd to 10th. This was to celebrate the emergency medical services and the amazing and important work they do. Not long before, in 1973, an act was introduced called the EMS System Act, which provided money for the creation of 300 plus EMS systems throughout the country with the intent of future growth. By 1975, 32 residencies were offered to physicians across the nation, which were preparing them for emergencies at all levels. Today is also commemorated as International AIDS Candlelight Memorial Day, which takes place on 3rd Sunday of May, is celebrated on May 18 this year. Two of these include remembering those who have died of AIDS, celebrated on May 18 this year. Two of these included remembering those who have died of AIDS, that is acquired immune deficiency syndrome, and honoring the people who have dedicated their lives to helping those living with and affected by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. So HIV positive individuals created an annual candlelight ceremony in 1983 and hundreds of events have since been held throughout the world. As a result of these events, HIV awareness has increased. The memorial is also a movement to mobilize communities. It is through this memorial that the stigma and discrimination associated with the disease are addressed now, and new generation have reason to hope. So the origin of AIDS caused by HIV remained unknown at the time of Maiden International AIDS Candlelight Memorial was being held concurrently in New York City and San Francisco in 1983. At that time, only a few thousand deaths were accounted for. The event organized wanted to pay tribute to those who had lost their lives to the AIDS and show solidarity with those who are afflicted by it. Today, the event is still focused on that. Over 28 million people have died from AIDS since the AIDS epidemic began in 1981, and more than 42 million people are still coping with HIV and AIDS. Today is also commemorated as International Museum Day on May 18th every year. So, since 1977, the International Council of Museums, in short known as ICOM, has celebrated this day annually to pay tribute to the international museum community. Museums are vital venues for cultural exchange and enrichment, as well as for the development of peaceful coexistence and cooperation among nations and communities. So, this day encourages people to visit museums dedicated to many fields of human endeavor, such as agriculture, fashion, astronomy, archaeology, art, and natural history. Together, let us embark on a journey to museums and learn about their historic past. 1951, the International Council of Museum (ICOM) held a meeting named Crusade for Museums, during which the international museum community debated the theme Museums and Education. The strategy for museum accessibility was established at this meeting and served inspiration for the creation of International Museum Day. International Museum Day was first observed in 1977 in Moscow when the ICOM General Assembly adopted a resolution calling for the establishment of an annual event to further integrate creative objectives and museum efforts aimed at directing the world attention to the contributions of museums to the humankind. It also pushes for the idea that museums are channels by which to promote mutual understanding, interaction, and world peace. Every year, the organization decides on a new theme. Since 1977, all museums across the world have been asked to organize and take part in activities to raise awareness about the importance of museums to society. Since its inception, International Museum Day has progressively grown in popularity. The number of participants have risen steadily over the last 15 years, a testament to the fact that the study of history allows you to understand how societies behave. Today, more people than ever visit museums all over the world. There are also more people studying history at universities now than any other time. Today is also commemorated as World Baking Day in US, which is celebrated annually on third Sunday in May as a day for everyone to bake something. This year it falls on May 18th. The day is for you to bake something sweet or savory, pretzels or crackers. You have to indulge in baking at least once. World Baking Day is a campaign started by Unilever to promote their margarine products. World Baking Day was celebrated on May 17th, but the day is to be celebrated on a Sunday. So the people would have to bake. World Baking Day was initially observed on May 20, 2012, which was the third Sunday in May. The day is meant for people to bake something and give it away to show that they care. So they choose to refer to our baking day as one of the third Sunday in May. Baking is done in oven, but it can also be done on hot ashes or hot stones. It can be traditionally performed by women at home and by men at bakeries and restaurants. Baked goods, especially bread, are a common and essential food economically and culturally. So the art of baking is considered a fundamental skill. People whose profession is to prepare baked goods are called bakers. Pastry chefs are those who are trained in the art of making bread, pastries, desserts, and other baked goods. So one of the most common items of baked goods is bread, although many other types of food can also be baked, from cakes, cookies, and pretzels to pizzas. Lesser and baked potatoes, there are many foods you can put into the oven to enjoy baking and tasting, sweet or savory. The options of baked goods are endless. Pies, for example, can be made sweet or savory, apple pie, sugar pie, and so on. So, whatever it will be, make sure you share it with your loved ones. Today is also commemorated as World AIDS Vaccine Day internationally every year. The world commemorates World AIDS Vaccine Day on May 18th. This day is also known as HIV Vaccine Knowledge Day, a campaign aimed at increasing public awareness about the importance of HIV vaccination in preventing HIV infection and AIDS. The project accomplishes two goals. One primarily aims to honor those medical professionals, scientists, and volunteers, supporters who have committed their lives to the development of the viable and safe AIDS vaccine. The other emphasized the necessity of vaccination, which serves as a barrier against life threatening infection. People are told that HIV may be avoided through fantastic initiative led by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, in short known as NIAID, and every one of us has a critical role to play in the preventive process and must share worldwide response. So the inaugural World AIDS Vaccine Day was held on May 18th, 1998 and was observed across the world. The idea of HIV Vaccine Awareness Day came from former US President Bill Clinton commencement speech at Morgan State University in 1997. He had stressed the importance of vaccination in containing and eradicating the deadly illness. Clinton had underlined the need of maximizing the use of science and technology to develop a vaccine that would improve people's ability to fight HIV. Since then, World AIDS Vaccine Day has been observed by numerous groups all over the world to educate people about the need of taking preventive measures, disseminate AIDS education, encourage researchers, and assure the common man's full involvement in the noble cause. The human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, is a virus that attacks the immune system of the body. It may be contracted through sharing needles, blood, or unprotected intercourse, and it can be even passed from mother to child during pregnancy. Within a few weeks, flu-like symptoms such as fever, sore throat, and exhaustion signal that onset of this illness. The virus proceeds to the next stage, which is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, through antiretroviral therapies, ARTs, have been shown to slow the progression of the disease. No permanent treatment has been yet developed. As a result, the development of HIV vaccine might be used to protect people when we do not have HIV or who do not have HIV. The activities are targeted at hastening the development of vaccines. HIV is a severe global pandemic or global health concern, with an estimated 38 million people living with the virus by the end of the 2019. HIV infection has become a manageable chronic health condition, allowing individuals living with HIV to live healthy, and long lives thanks to the impoverished access to efficient HIV prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and care. So it is critical to keep educating the communities about HIV and AIDS prevention. It is critical to educate underserved areas and minority groups on HIV prevention. The human immunodeficiency virus, also known as HIV, affects the cells that assist the body fight infection and increases a person's risk of contract other illnesses. It is transferred by intimate contact with the person who has HIV and their bodily fluids. So currently, no vaccine can prevent HIV infection or treat individuals who already have it, but scientists are nevertheless working on AIDS vaccine. By the end of 2011, there are 3.3 million HIV positive youngsters around the globe, and children are at risk. According to the CDC, one out of every 5 persons in the United States is infected with this HIV virus. So today is also commemorated as Take Your Parents to the Playground Day in US every year on third Sunday of May, falling on May 18 this year. So this is a great way for children to show how hard they work at their job, playing. Playing outdoors is extremely important for a child's development in their developmental years. Playing outdoors with others, especially parents, make the experience even better. And this day is perfect for parents and children to have absolute blast. Today is also commemorated as Stepmother's Day in US, which is celebrated every year in the United States on the Sunday after Mother's Day. This year it falls on May 18th. The aim is to show appreciation to stepmothers around the world. Stepmothers are women who marry men who already have children. They usually play the role of mothers and help to take care of the stepchildren. Stepmothers have raised children and provide them with time, energy, and emotional and financial support. Since they are not the children's biological mothers, they may not get enough recognition of Mother's Day. Stepmother's Day comes to celebrate the unique relationship between stepmothers and their stepchildren. Today is also commemorated as state flag of Turkmenistan that are close to the hearts of Turkmens in the state of Turkmenistan Day, which is celebrated on May 18th. This commemorates the adoption of Turkmenistan flag after the collapse of Soviet Union. The flag is a symbol of freedom for Turkmens and marks the beginning of independence for the nation. Not only does it symbolize freedom, but it also creates a sense of unity between the tribes in the country. For its acoustic design, it has earned the title of most complex national flag in the world. Today is also commemorated as Send an Electronic Greeting Card Day in US, which is celebrated annually on May 18th. The purpose of this day is to inspire people to send electronic greeting cards. Not only are these digital greeting cards convenient and inexpensive to send, but they are also good for environment. The use of electronic greetings cards as opposed to paper greeting cards contribute to environmental protection by minimizing the amount of extra paper waste. Since its inception several decades ago, the internet has become an integral part of our daily lives, and sending a personalized e-card is a fun and easy way to convey goodwill. Today is also commemorated as Rural Life Sunday in US on May 18th, the third Sunday of May, but in many regions it's observed on different days. This day, which falls on May 18 this year, is classified as Special Sunday by the United Methodist Church and is one of the four holidays observed throughout the year. It recognizes that the church has built third hard-working farmers and their livelihood and existence were made possible only through God's grace. Often a harvest festival is celebrated in conjunction with Rural Life Sunday, and it makes a fun that stays true to its history. Today is also commemorated as National Visit Your Relatives Day in US, which is a day dedicated to spending time with your loved ones and cherished family time. With the advent of the digital age, while it became easier to connect with our realities, the fast pace of our lives have added to the distance even more. The day reminds us to take a moment of appreciating having a family and taking time out to visit or call the relatives we haven't contacted in a while. There isn't a culture or religion in the world that doesn't have values and traditions surrounding family. Nowadays, it's common for people to live anywhere across the globe, and staying in touch ensures that you maintain close ties with your family and stay rooted in your culture and traditions. So, National Visit Your Relatives Day is a day dedicated to showing appreciation for those who played a role in your growth and making sure they too get your support. Many of us have fond childhood memories of our families and growing up family vacations, playing with siblings as well as fighting with them and causing trouble. National Visit Your Relatives Day is a day to relish those beautiful moments by spending quality time together again. Modern life is very busy. People are constantly juggling work, family, career, relationships, and other commitments. And often we don't prioritize catching up with our relatives enough. So, National Visit Your Relatives Day is a day dedicated to doing just this, to reach out to those who deserve our time more than others. There is no better way to celebrate the day than by simply stopping by and say hello to your relatives or family members that you don't often get to see. If you can't meet them, call them or send them e-cards, or if you have ample time, host a reunion. The best way to celebrate family. It will definitely bring a huge smile to the faces of your grandparents and older members of the family who will certainly appreciate this gesture of bringing the family together after a long time apart. Today is also commemorated as National No Dirty Dishes Day in US. Whether you are a mother, father, sister, brother, or roommate, no one likes dirty dishes. That is why on May 18th, we celebrate National No Dirty Dishes Day, most likely created by an upset parent that has, that has sinks around world rejoicing at the thought of having a light workload and a clear space on this day. So keep your sinks happy and do your part by saying no to dirty dishes. Today is also commemorated as National HIV Vaccine Awareness Day in US, which is celebrated on May 18th to acknowledge all those people who are working towards finding a vaccine for HIV. The day is also a reminder about the importance of HIV vaccine research. AIDS is a life-threatening disease and has no cure yet. National HIV Vaccine Awareness Day is aimed to make sure that people take proper precautions to avoid spread of HIV. It is a day to reach out to HIV positive patients and help them cope with it. The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, observes National HIV Vaccine Awareness Day to show gratitude to all the medical professionals who are working day and night to find a cure for AIDS and prevent spread of HIV. It is a day to reach out to the community members, volunteers, scientists, and health professionals are working hand in hand to find preventive vaccine for HIV/AIDS. Different organizations dedicated to health use this day to promote the importance of HIV vaccine research. The concept of HIV Vaccine Awareness Day originated from a speech by US President Bill Clinton on May 18, 1997. He emphasized the importance of developing a vaccine for HIV within the coming decade, saying only a truly effective preventive HIV vaccine can limit and eventually eliminate the threat of AIDS. The first HIV Vaccine Awareness Day was observed in 1998 to commemorate the one year anniversary of Bill Clinton's speech on the topic. Every year, various organizations around the country organize events to make people more aware of HIV as well as its prevention. This helps bring together individuals in a collective effort to prevent the spread of HIV pandemic. Approximately 1.1 million people in the US are living with HIV, and 39,000 Americans are newly infected with it every year. According to the state HIV statistics, an estimated 14% of these people are unaware that they are infected, and 1/4 of those infected are female. Today is also commemorated as National Cheese Souffle Day in US to honor the savory French delight. On this day, people make and enjoy cheese souffles either alone or with friends or family. The word souffle comes from the French word souffler, which means to puff up or to blow. Vincent LaChapelle mentioned the recipe for the first time in his book, Le Cousiner Modern, and it has become a popular dessert as well as main course. A souffle is basically a white sauce filled with folded into mixture, and you can add whatever flavor you like at this point, such as vegetables, cheese, chocolates, or fruit. The word souffle comes from the French word souffler, which means to puff up. So while cooking for the rich folk of Paris, the updated ovens he used were all heated up by air drafts instead of coal, and the change was key in the rise of souffles. The tricky thing about souffles is that after a certain point, they will collapse due to cool air outside the oven. So they need to be served and eaten as soon as they are taken out of the oven. Today is also commemorated as Mother Whistler Day in US, as opposed to being the day chosen to celebrate the mother of the American artist named James Abbott McNeil Whistler, whom the title takes from, is a day to celebrate the art of whistling. Most people can whistle, however, not everyone can. You might ask why celebrate something like whistling? Well, because why not? Life is too short to choose not to celebrate things, especially things, if it done well, can be melodious sound. Whistling is emitting of a clear, high-pitched sound by forcing breath through a small hole between one's lips of teeth and has been used in movies, songs, and other arts. Today is also commemorated as Haitian flag in Haiti on May 18th every year. It is declared national holiday in Haiti to commemorate the country's independence from the French. The flag was hoisted for the time on the day in 1803, and the people came together to establish the country's first republic. The flag is a symbol of patriotism and nationalism and was a beacon of hope in Haiti during the colonial era. This day represents liberation and embodies the cultural heritage and resilience and the Haitian people as they reclaim their land from the hand of oppressors. So Haitian Flag Day, observed every year on May 18th, is a national holiday in Haiti that commemorates establishment of Haitian during the Haitian Revolution. Several US cities with a sizable Haitian population observe the day both inside and outside of Haiti. Haitians commemorate and enjoy the day. The Haitians was approved on May 18, 1803 on the final day of the RK Congress. The convention resulted into two significant outcomes: the foundation of United Leadership of Revolutionary Army under the supreme authority of Jean-Jacques Dessalines and indigenous adoption of a flag. So Jean-Jacques Dessalines designated the flag by pulling away the white center of the French tricolor. Catherine Flon, his goddaughter, stitched the remaining horizontal bands together, transforming the tricolor into bicolor. The blue in the Haitian flag is claimed to represent Haitians of American heritage, while the red represents the color French for people of color. The flag has been modified multiple times over the years. In 1804, the bands became vertical. A red and black variant has also been used on few occasions. The present flag was approved on February 17, 1986, following the Jean-Claude Deuller's resignation, and was reaffirmed a year later with the official approval of the March 29, 1987 Constitution. The creation of the first flag was watershed point in the Haiti's history, and it became the annual event on May 18. University's Day was added to the celebrations in 1919 by the government. The government considered highlighting the education system as crucial because the schooling system was under threat because of occupation of Haiti, which begins in 1950. Today is also commemorated as Emergency Medical Services Day in US, which is observed on the third week of May, this first day of Emergency Medical Services Week. It takes place on May 18th. This day creates awareness about the services performed by emergency medical service providers such as doctors, nurses, emergency helpline responders, and ambulance drivers. It also aims to express gratitude to EMS providers for the time-bound services they perform. Emergency medical services emerged during the Civil War era in the US. All military personnel had to examine by medical officers to qualify for duty, and ambulance teams were trained in patient care to care for injured soldiers. Fast forward a few decades. In 1865, Cincinnati got its first civilian ambulance. Later in 1869, New York City advertised a 30-second response time and provided an ambulance surgeon for critical patients. During World War I, signal boxes were used to injured signals to assist medical teams in locating them on the battlefields along with ambulances. Medical teams also used electric, steam, and gasoline-powered carriages to transport the injured. After the war, civilian ambulances carrying surgeons were equipped with radio dispatches so that they could quickly reach those in need. However, the emergence of what we know the modern-day emergency medical services began during 1950s as a subsidiary of 5 different types of business: towing operators, medical equipment companies, funeral homes, hospitals, and police and fire departments. The subsidiary evolved into its own industry over the time. However, the efforts of EMTs and EMS responders weren't known or understood until President Gerald Ford authorized the Emergency Medical Services Week in 1970. So Emergency Medical Services Day is managed by the Federal Emergency Medical Services Program, which partners with the American College of Emergency Physicians and the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Emergency Nurses Association to raise awareness concerning the need for patients in acute care settings. Every year, the focus is to improve medical facilities for every age group in critical situations. So today is also commemorated as Public Works Week from May 18 to 24 in US and Canada. The third full week of May to recognize the importance of public works in an organized society. It takes place from May 15 to 21st. This week-long celebration also sheds light on the brave essential role that public works employees play in our roles and lives. By definition, public works are the state-funded physical and social infrastructure of a country. From the sanitation of our roads to the dams and power grids, public works are an indispensable part of any developed society. A stable society and a functioning public works unit are interdependent. Since at the time of Roman Empire, governments have relied on establishing systems that serve society through warfare programs and essential services. These systems enable the citizens to perform business, conduct their personal lives in peace. Likewise, a healthy public works unit contributes to the elevation of the quality of life. So, public works in broad terms can be viewed as a recreational, aesthetical, and economic interventions made to ease the lives of citizens in a republic. Public works also include the social safety net programs offered by government to elevate low-income families out of poverty and debt. From the head of the state to the governor, all the way to local country officials and municipal board, the entire body of government is engaged in public works through a tire system. So soon after the crash of 1930s, President Franklin D. Roosevelt ushered in a new way of expanded government services and utility investments that changed the course of public works in the US. The FDR administration also modified the Federal Emergency Administration of Public Works and renamed it Public Works Administration in 1930. The deployment of a robust economic package that employed the public and strengthened private sector business helped in the US make its way cut out of depression. Subsequently, a cohort of public work leaders formed the American Public Works Association, APWA, in 1937. In 1960, the APWA received an official endorsement from the United States Senate and organized the first Public Work Week. 6 decades after its establishment, the APWA continues to be the biggest voice for public works employees. Every year, a theme is allotted to the Public Works. National Public Works Week, the most recent being Stronger Together and the Rhythm of the Public Works. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. Today's commemorations. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.